Hey there, I'm Tommy, and today we are making a special short film for Easter with just AI. I'll show you the entire workflow I use for short films, from pre-production to final cut, and a few tips so you can start using it today. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete framework you can use to make your own professional short films and get production-ready visuals. But before we get into it, let's see the first half of the film.
Is that the kid everyone's talking about?
Yeah, that's Joe. I heard he never shares anything.
Hi, Joe. Do you mind if I try one?
No! I will eat them when I get home.
But there's so many of them.
If you're curious to see how it ends, let me know down in the comments and I'll do a part 2 showcasing the end of the video. When creating a short film, the first thing you need to do is brainstorm ideas and create a solid foundation for the story. Ask yourself, what's the message? What's the emotion? What's a story worth telling? You might change some of this info as you go, but it's good to start a project with a clear vision in mind. This is what I came up with. A selfish kid that doesn't like to share meets a kind kid in Easterland. The selfish kid becomes kinder. From there, I thought about how I would develop the story from start to finish and then mapped out 3 scenes. First, basketball court. Lonely, tense, you can tell none of the kids like our main character. Second, Easterland. Mysterious, inspiring, there our main character changes. And third, school stairs, where the unexpected happens. And we're back at school, our first location, to highlight the difference in our character's behavior. This allows me to set up the mood and create tension, building up towards a climax. Just what you'd expect from a great short film. So we've got a clear vision and we're ready to tell the story. First, we'll need a main character. We're building someone from the ground up, so I've used Nano Banana Pro to get a very realistic look. All the prompts used for this project will be down in the description, so do check that out so you can follow the exact same framework in your own prompts. After generating the character, I'm prompting a few different angles and then downloading everything into a folder. So let me introduce you to Joe and Leo, the cast of our short film. Now, we need to start working on the locations. The first scene happens at the basketball court to highlight all the kids having fun together while Joe sits at the bench by himself, probably eating some chocolate eggs. So again, I'm adding to Nano Banana Pro to make it look super realistic, and let's capture the essence of this scene. Make our little Joe look like a misfit. The prompt is in the description, and let's animate the scene. First thing I'm doing is uploading the characters and all the locations into the Cinema Studio feature on Xfil. This allows me to maintain consistency across different shots. And no, this is not a sponsor, it's just definitely useful. The first shot will be around 4 seconds, and I'm prompting a dynamic handheld shot of the kids playing on the basketball court, and I'm bringing the reference after it. They seem to be enjoying themselves while casually playing and having fun. The next shot will also be around 4 seconds, and I'll make it a close-up shot of the subject. Let's bring in Joe with a bored emotion, sitting alone on the wooden bench at basketball court as he watches the other kids play on the court. The camera slowly zooms in. The scene ends with the subject getting a bite at the chocolate. I really love the music here, so let's keep going. Next, I'm adding some girls gossiping about Joe and how no one likes him. This kind of works as a B-roll while supporting the narrative and providing context as to why no one likes him. So here's the start frame, and to animate it, I'll just prompt 2 girls gossiping about a kid they don't seem to like. The girl on the left slowly asks, "Is that a kid everyone's talking about?" while the other listens curiously. She then replies, "Yeah, that's Joe. I heard he never shares anything." The camera is slowly zooming in to their mouths, not fully revealing their faces. The scene is photorealistic and there's soft background noise from the playground environment. And let's reference the basketball court.
Is that the kid everyone's talking about?
Yeah, that's Joe. I heard he never shares anything.
Before we move to the next scene, I'm generating a final shot that kind of connects everything together and allows our story to move forward. So we get a small time skip and I made our subject be out of school on his way home. This is the start frame, and to animate it, I've done a multi-shot. The first shot is a kid wearing a red hat, and let's reference Joe, walking home after school when a smaller kid wearing sports clothes with the same age, walking in the opposite direction, stops next to him and kindly asks him, "Hi Joe, do you mind if I try one?" The camera is following the subject, the scene is photorealistic. As for the next shot, the subject wearing a red hat, and let's bring Joe with a mad and angry emotion, answers, "No, I will eat them when I get home," and walks away, avoiding and ignoring the other kid. The camera is a close-up of the face of the kid wearing a red hat, and let's reference Joe again. The scene is photorealistic. Next, let's just have an over-the-shoulder of the smaller kid watching the other subject as he walks away. And to finalize the shot, it's a close-up of the smaller kid mumbling, "But there's so many of them," with a sad and confused look on his face as he watches the other subject walking away. Here, we'll get to experience Joe's awful personality in firsthand, which makes us wonder why he acts like this and hope that he will change. That's one step towards character connection and development, which will be at the core of Scene 2.
Hi, Joe. Do you mind if I try one?
No! I will eat them when I get home.
But there's so many of them.
I think everything works great on these shots. The subject's emotions are clearly visible on their faces, and we are actually telling a story on this frame. So that's the end of Scene 1. For Scene 2, we're completely changing how we position our main character so the viewers can connect with him. We're out of school and it's bedtime in Joe's house. Here, we'll completely change the environment and somehow teleport Joe into Easterland. Here's what I came up with for the transition between worlds. First, I got the start frame where we'll have Joe sleeping in his bed, and then we'll bring in the camera into an ultra close shot where his face completely occupies the full frame, and then pull it back into the new environment. Using this first frame, let's do a kid, and reference Joe, lying in bed trying to sleep. The subject is moving his head from one side to the other while trying to find the perfect position. It doesn't look very comfortable, almost like he's having a nightmare. The camera is zooming in into an ultra close shot of the subject's eyes, occupying the full frame. The scene is photorealistic. I want to make it seem like he's having a nightmare, which suddenly wakes him up and boom, he's somewhere else. Also notice how I placed some chocolate eggs on the bed, just so it shows that the real reason why Joe didn't share them with the other kid was because he just didn't want to, not because he was going to eat them all. I think this is perfect. Let's skip it and finish the transition with the next scene. Now here's a little trick. To make this transition, you could have generated a frame of the ultra close shot to be the anchor point between scenes. However, I decided to leave it up to the model to imagine how the scene would play out, and I'm just taking a screenshot of the last frame to use it at the start of my next scene. This way, I get more freedom to choose what happens and direct the scene. Then all we need to do is make them seamlessly flow together. So the scene starts with the camera zooming in on the subject's face to occupy the full frame. Then it starts zooming out, revealing a new background, followed by a dolly out camera movement that captures the main subject confused in the new environment. The camera feels smooth and cinematic. The scene is photorealistic. It's almost as if we're diving into his dream. Joe is having a nightmare, then suddenly we get pulled in as he wakes up in a new environment. I love it. I think it worked pretty well. Let's end the first half of the film by foreshadowing what's about to happen next. It's now nighttime in Easterland, and Joe has been wandering by himself ever since he got there. He's exhausted, but has finally found somewhere to go. A mysterious treehouse. Since he hasn't eaten all day, Joe is starving, and I don't think he's making it to the house on this scene. So let's hear his tummy rumbling and have him faint on his way there. So let's do a multi-shot here, and using the first frame, we'll do an exhausted male subject, reference Joe, wearing pajamas, trying to walk towards the treehouse with his bare feet. The subject takes a few steps, then stops as he belly rumbles from not eating anything all day. The camera is following the subject, the scene is photorealistic. Next, I'll do a close-up of the subject, and let's reference Joe again, as he passes out from starvation, falling onto the floor after losing his strength. The scene is photorealistic. Okay, now let's bring everything over to DaVinci and put it all together. We'll need to go over our footage, trim and edit, possibly even color grade the clips. Then add effects or transitions where needed and finish everything off with sound design and music. Not every generation made it to the final cut. A few were only used for specific moments or removed from the composition. This is one of the key aspects of the edits. So that's visuals and music done. Great, so let's see the final results.
Is that the kid everyone's talking about?
Yeah, that's Joe. I heard he never shares anything.
Hi, Joe. Do you mind if I try one?
No! I will eat them when I get home.
But there's so many of them.
It's important to note that I didn't show you all the bad takes, like this one, for example, or this one. That's just part of the process. With AI, it's all about iteration. You run the prompt, you look at it, you tweak it, and you run it again. That's how you get production-ready results. Everything you need to recreate this or try the exact framework on your own short film is in the description. And I want to hear it from you. Are you curious about how this short film ends? Let me know down in the comments so I can make a part 2 showing you the final results. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.